Computer. All right, everybody. Well, welcome again. I think this is our fourth or fifth in-person discussion where we get to talk with women over the age of 40 and bring in experts in their fields of health and nutrition and sleep and whatever is good for us to live a long, healthy life for the next 50 years of our life. So today we have a special guest, Milan. He is an author. He has a #1 book on Amazon called We Are Abundance, and he believes in breath work and meditation. He's originally from Serbia, and he came to the United States, and he had some health issues that he's going to talk about, but he turned his life around. So thank you so much, Milan, for being here.
Yes, absolutely. Nice being here.
You can just let us know, your journey that you told me about.
Yes. Okay. So I really like simplicity. So I'll try and be simple and short. So my name is Milan Vra-cha-rich. It's very hard to pronounce my last name. So that's why I say Milan Vee. So I was born and raised in Serbia, Europe, which is a small country in Southeastern Europe. And after graduating college, I've been a good boy. I went to school and I've seen that it wasn't for me. After speaking to a bunch of my family members, and everyone was like, you have an opportunity to go and leave and grow. Yeah, do that. So that's when I moved to the States. I was kind of like a super immigrant because I never had the language barrier because my mom started teaching me English when I was very young. So it was a lot easier, I feel, for me than for others. And I used to drink a lot of alcohol. I was a notorious alcoholic. Like beer was like water for me. I was one of those people. And I used to smoke cigarettes and eat the heaviest, densest foods. I used to hate fruits and vegetables. Then I moved to the States 9 years ago after graduating college. And then 8 years ago, when my sister joined me, I was blessed. Like I really like I feel like I'm very blessed. My childhood was beautiful. Like my sister joined me here in the United States. My discipline, I feel kind of that's me doing my part, but I'm not, I know that some people do go through like rough periods of, in life. For me, maybe it's just me perceiving it like this, but I really feel like I was very blessed and I'm still blessed. And, it was easy for me to kind of look inside and to see, okay, I was in Serbia, I was in New Jersey, I was in Massachusetts. And then when my sister joined me, when we survived a very harsh winter, 2014 to 15 in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, when she asked me where we're going, I really want to go as south as possible, southernmost point. And that's why we went to West Palm Beach first. And then I was like, okay, I've been in Jersey, I've been in obviously Serbia, Massachusetts and stuff. There was always problems. So maybe the problems are not coming from the outside, maybe it's from the inside. And then I started, it might be a little cliche, but how I started implementing my daily practices was after I watched the movie The Secret. Probably some of you have watched this, right? The Law of Attraction. And I was like, okay, so my results come from my daily practices, my daily habits, and I choose what my daily habits are. And I was like, okay, let me start doing these affirmation things. They say they work. And I started doing affirmations, even though I already told Erin, I was also blessed with having a steady workout habit, like, 2, 3 to 4 times a week. So it was kind of easy for me to start implementing holistic health practices. And then when I moved to Miami 7 years ago, unpopularly, I made the decision to stop going out as opposed to most other people that come to Miami. And that's where I started doing breath work, yoga, meditation, fasting even. I started my 3-day fast when I was still smoking cigarettes. That was kind of weird and rough on my body, but after 2 weeks of starting breath work, my body just rejected the habit of smoking cigarettes. And ever since, I'm going to say something very unpopular that's also going to reflect maybe what I said, that I feel very blessed. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Is because it was 3 years ago. I was already 4 years into my everyday morning practices. So I was very centered. And it was like someone pulled the rug underneath my feet and was like, okay, bro, what now? What you got? And I was like, okay, so let me prioritize. Because you probably know some of these people. I was a lot in like woo-woo land, like spirituality, law of attraction, my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Rather than just being focused, like, what's my number one goal? What's my number 2, 3? And that's when I prioritize. Okay, I need to take care of my travel documents, go back, seek home a little bit, because I haven't been home in 9 years already. Let me focus on that first. Number 2 is, because I still work at a restaurant, I'm not the best business marketing guy, but I do know that I'm doing what I love when it comes to like holistic health practices and facilitating space for others to kind of be holistically healthy themselves, or to practice all the activities that we're going to probably talk about. And really, the past 3 years, I really wish everyone to feel at least half as light as I feel, because for me, I really wake up in the morning almost every day feeling like existence is a blessing. And I really do feel like each of us have this potential within us to like inherently be happy, not bullcrapping, not pushing our demons and shadows to the side, actually being able to look at them, integrate them. This is a very motherly way, right? The feminine way of totally embracing yourselves. I don't know if you know the statistic that women live 5 to 7 years longer than men do. 80% of divorces are women initiate. 75% of suicides by men is because I feel women are way more allowing themselves to feel. You know, when they say crying is fantastic. Obviously not if you cry every day, all day, but if you allow yourself to feel and to process these emotions. And this is what I mean. Through processing the emotions, being okay with them, allowing yourself to be what you are, and then, okay, I need to do these practices, like for example, breathwork or working out. This is why I like to do these in the morning. You start your day with beneficial discomfort, and then you set yourself up for being able to totally be way more okay when you experience uncomfortable situations during the day, rather than if you start your day, you get out of bed, you get out of comfort, again, into comfort. Not really how I like to start my day. So, yeah.
I'm going to just interrupt you because what you said was like super profound. Beneficial discomfort. That is massive, because that will get you to the other side of every single thing that you want to get accomplished, because you have to be uncomfortable to get to the other side of where you want to go, because it's our comfort that keeps pulling us back, and we don't want to make the change. So it's that beneficial discomfort. That's like going to be my new saying. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it resonates with you. And again, I love comfort. Comfort is, mother holding its child. The comfort is, snuggling into your bed, or, enjoying something that you enjoy. We want comfort, but we want to realize that for whatever reason, like in the past 100, 200 years, as the industrialization was kind of building this society of concrete and urbanized living, we just were unconsciously demonizing discomfort. Yet all the shamans around the world, when people that interview them, ask them, what's the problem with today's world? They're like, we've severed our connection to spirit, we've demonized discomfort, and we need the balance between the discomfort and the comfort. The same reason why we need the balance of these masculine and feminine energies within us. The same reason why sex feels this good. The same reason why the number one topic of all like mainstream music, right, is relationships. Why? Is because it's always the masculine seeking for the feminine. I'm not talking about like, men and women, of course, have masculine, feminine. There's more masculine women, there's more feminine men, of course. I'm just talking stereotypically, like generalizing. It's the charge, it's the attraction. It's simply the two sides of the one. I know this sounds a little bit like metaphysical, but from my studies and from my practice, there's always this duality that's present, but it always seems like it's two sides of the same thing in anything. So on one hand, it is as simple as starting with 5 minutes of breathwork every day. But on the other hand, it is super complicated as, okay, now you go into the world and shit hits the fan. What now? So it is simple and it's very complicated. Also, everything matters and nothing matters. Everything's real, nothing's real. I know this sounds a little bit, but for me, from my experience, it's always coming back to just letting go of the mind concepts and just being. That's why the breath work is key.
Now, how different is breath work from meditation? And have you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the two are very similar. I just think of meditation as like a very slow breath work practice. That will be a more physical approach to meditation. They're different. I personally think that meditation is more of an advanced practice than breath work. Because you have your phone, you have your notifications, you have your spouse, you have your kids, you have your job, these are all external stimuli that simply distract our focus from the present moment. That's the nature of our everyday lives. So that's why it's very hard for most people to sit down and just to kind of try to shut this off, or wherever the mind is. I don't, and let's not get into metaphysics. But meditation is secondary. I believe breathwork is primary because anyone can, I don't know if you know what box breaths are? Simply like, very simple. Like, this is why I tell people it's as simple, like changing your life for the better is as simple as like a 3-minute daily breathwork practice of doing 9 box breaths. 4-second inhale through the nose, 4-second breath hold at the top, 4-second exhale through the nose, 4-second breath hold at the bottom, times 9. I believe this is very simple, and I believe most of us are able to do this.
Well, say it again. You hold for 4, so you breathe in for 4 seconds?
Yeah, only through the nose. 4
so
seconds.
You breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. And then what?
Breath hold at the top.
Hold the breath for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you exhale.
Exhale through the nose. Yeah.
4 seconds.
Yeah. And then supposedly, ideally, you want to empty your lungs and then holding the breath at the bottom of the exhale.
Then you hold for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And then that's 9 rounds, you said, of that?
9 times this. Yeah.
So it's not, you have to be really focused on counting and breathing. So it's kind of a form of meditation, but kind of not. But does that calm you down, or?
This is, well.
It seems like a lot of work in the beginning, but I'm sure you'll get used to it.
This is a lot more, to me, this is a lot more simple than sitting down, trying to calm down the mind, trying to.
Right.
Try to. You can't physically.
Now, have you been at that point where you can calm down the mind and think of nothing during meditation?
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes.
Have you had like inspired thought during meditation? Has that happened to you, or is it just silent?
Okay. Yes, but that happens not that often.
Okay.
So inspiration.
Or something like you get an answer of something you've been thinking about, or something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So for me, just being able to, I don't consider myself an expert meditator in that sense, because for me, because I come from a life of super overthinking. Like, right. I used to have like 60, 70 reminders in my phone, popping up as notifications, like, every day, all day. So for me to just be able to sit down and to experience periods of time of like complete
Right.
silence,
Yeah.
that to me is, I'm assuming what you meant was, have you ever experienced like out of body sensations or something like
Yeah,
that?
during meditation. Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Right.
Although I do have a lot of friends who do talk about this, that they experience this, but for me, it still hasn't happened to me because that requires for you to be able to constantly have, because I do meditate every day. I do breathwork, it's meditation, two separate practices for me. But like from what I've heard from them, it takes a regular, consistent, everyday meditation practice. And these are people that meditate for like longer, either twice, you probably heard of the TM movement, twice of 20 minutes per day, or like once for an hour, and for me, that is just, it's not a priority. I have prioritized my physical goals, first, and then one day for sure, I'm gonna definitely experiment with extrasensory perception, all those metaphysical goodies that are woo-woo for a lot of people. But
so let me ask you this, because when it comes to working out,
yeah,
okay, and strength training, I've always felt that strength training is a form of meditation because you are one with your body. And if you're doing a 12 reps, okay, the first 3 reps, you are focused on those first 3 reps. There's nothing going on. You're not thinking about your lunch. You're not thinking about your kids. You're not worried about your bills. You're only in those first 3 reps. So, and it's like a warming up. It feels good. You're thinking about, just pretend it's like a bicep curl. You're watching your arm come up. You're watching the dumbbell go up and down. And then the next 3 reps are different from the first 3 reps. Because it's kind of like, all right, you're in the middle of the set now. So your feeling changes. The biceps get a little more pumped, but you're not tired yet. So then you go from rep 1 to 6 to 6 to 9, and then things start to happen. There's blood pumping in the muscles. You feel really good. You're getting a little more pump. The reps 9 through 12, they're challenging. And that's when the change takes place. When you push yourself for those 9 to 12 reps, and it's been proven, that's when the muscle growth takes place in those final reps. And it's almost like that beneficial discomfort you're talking about. You're pushing yourself and then it's done. And it's literally less than a minute. But it's honestly, to me, it's a form of meditation because you're one with your body, you're breathing, you're focused, and then you're not thinking of anything else. So you can sit on a mat, right? And try to let go of all those thoughts. But, working out is a form for me of meditation. And that's why I get so many results from it, because I'm consistent and I'm completely focused. And I do not think of anything else during those 12 reps. And it's completely amazing how you can transform because you're so focused. And it's like you said, the vision board, or those positive thoughts. You're putting that positive thoughts into action. And then you're creating something extremely beautiful. Right?
Ideally, your workout should be as a meditation.
Yes, yeah. Right. I mean, it isn't always that way,
It is, it is very, because also to me, because I like to talk about holistic health. To me, the most important pillar of holistic health is authentic self-expression, or being in your power, or being in your purpose. Yes. If you do what you love, you're literally meditating because you're enjoying, not really thinking that much. You're just kind of doing. That's an ideal.
Right.
So we really want to acknowledge these things, because I feel a lot of times when people talk about these things, this, that, like, bro, that's not easy. Don't talk about that. Like, people think, you just do this, do that. To me, like what you were talking about, Aaron, it's not the rep 9, 10, 11 that's hard. I believe what's hard for most people, from my experience, from my clients, is the consistency aspect.
Yes, this is true.
Yes,
it's true. And consistency is beneficial discomfort. I'm just going to keep going back to that. When you're consistent, you don't want to be, hey, I don't want to do my dishes before I go to
No,
bed.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's beneficial discomfort. I want to wake up and have a clean sink, you know?
Yes, it is. To me, I really always like to come back to like simplicity. And while there seems to be, I had a friend ask me a couple days ago, like, how do you find that inner peace with this world being so chaotic? And I'm first, to simplify it completely, is daily breathwork exercises, because not only do you physically strengthen your lungs, and they're connected to your heart, right? The cardiovascular system, which is the basis, it is the foundation of your body. The stronger your cardiovascular system, the stronger your muscles can get, because you probably, unfortunately, heard a lot of stories of these athletes just dropping dead, is because their cardiovascular system failed.
Right.
Cardiovascular system. So that's
amongst
why
other reasons.
Yep. And number two, breath work, breathing exercise, consistent breathing exercises, besides physically strengthening your body, they tend to shift your focus throughout the day to the breath. And problems exist. The biggest thing that's a problem for us is how we feel, right? No matter what is happening outside of us, you know that someone can be totally a Zen master and just be at ease, when someone else can totally lose it. So it's how you feel. And even scientifically, clinically, it's proven that when you are able, what you talked about, focus, to keep your focus with your breathing, which is what is strengthened by daily breathwork practice, you are able to, on one hand, have a stronger and ever increasing strength of the body, and on the other hand, ever increasing strength of your focus, or the mind, the body and the mind. You have both sides. And but what I want to say is that friend asked me, how do you stay calm? Obviously, besides the breath, shifting, seeing yourself. Okay, it's not, this is a profound thing. I spoke to my neighbor also yesterday. You are not depressed. You feel depressed. It feels like that. You are not that, because yesterday you were happy, right? So it does not determine you. I know this sounds a little cliche, but it is, I believe, empirical truth. It feels like that. And then when you can be, okay, so it feels like I am stressed. And then you're like, okay, so I see myself feeling the stress. And then I see myself seeing myself. Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Changing these perspectives,
right.
And each new perspective change, you literally feel 10 times lighter.
Yes.
For me, that's my experience. And for me, and here's the thing, my overthinking self would be, oh, but this seems like a lot of mental gymnastics. No, I have reached this state of being through total surrender. Again, the metaphysical aspect, but total.
Yeah.
Because the mind concepts, they're beautiful. Our goals, our wishes, they're beautiful, but they should be secondary. Not forget about them. They're beautiful. They're natural. It is understanding that these are all mind concepts. These are not certain things. These are not rules. These are just our beliefs that can change tomorrow totally. Number one, the priority should be to be present and to really enjoy what we're doing. Then we can enjoy food, sex, TV, even alcohol here and there, doesn't matter. But when you really enjoy something, I really feel then you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
All right, well, thank you. I'm going to bring Dr. Areli. Are you there? You can unmute if you can. She might not be there. Because she is raw vegan. And I wanted you guys to have a discussion. Dr. Areli, are you there? I'll give her a message. Anyways, but I know, Milan, that you went plant-based mostly.
Yeah.
Or are you still plant-based, or?
So I did go through a raw vegan, a couple of years of being raw vegan, mostly fruitarian. When I was I lived for a couple of months on an exotic fruit farm in Homestead. It was really like totally like very weird and like very out of this world, to put it like that, because I've met people that just live totally extraordinary lives. I felt good, and I feel if I stayed, because Homestead is a bit further away from the urban parts of Miami, and it is something being in the urban environment that kind of makes me to wish for heavier foods. But don't get me wrong, that is something also that I'm very interested in, a perfect diet. I don't really believe that a perfect diet exists. I still do eat mostly like fruits and plant-based, but I'm very curious. I like to taste a piece of meat, especially if a friend makes something, I like to taste a piece or a couple of pieces of meat, fish, cheese, eggs, bread. To be honest, I think bread and pasta is my biggest. I don't feel good when I eat a lot of bread or pasta. It just doesn't sit well with me. I don't feel like I need anything besides plant foods, but I'm totally aware of the processed danger, the Beyond Burgers and the Impossible Burgers, and the
I don't go near those. Yeah.
Oh yes. So, but don't get me wrong, I still do eat sometimes processed food. I'm not
right.
But I'm mainly fruitarian. But just to answer your question, but I'm not vegan. I'm not vegetarian. I eat everything, a little bit of everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to open up to you guys. Jean Marie, do you have a question? Are you there? You guys are leaving me.
I am here. Yes. No, very interesting. And I mean, just like Erin, I just started writing things down, and I'm glad you asked about the breathing, because I started writing that and beneficial discomfort. So my thought is, I liked what you said about first thing in the morning. I always used to work out first thing in the morning. I don't know how I changed that. Now it's typically later in the evening. But I think it would be beneficial for me to maybe get back and form a habit of getting it done in the morning. And I honestly feel like I'd have a clearer mind, and I wouldn't be worried about, oh, am I going to fit it in? You know what? Get it over with. And then maybe I could do another workout in the evening. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Is that a question, or is that to me or Erin?
Well, I liked what you shared. It like you made me, I'm going to be thinking more about being purposeful and maybe not putting things off, because yeah, I think it would make sense, get it done in the morning, and I think I would go about having a better day. I really do.
Ideally, yes, but again, I really always like to keep that authentic individual aspect, because everyone is different. I even have some friends that feel good at night. I personally don't go out. I don't, I like to go to bed at 9, 10, wake up at 5. But there's some people that they don't go out, but they just like to, look at the moon, or like, do other kinds of events. Some people like to work out at night. I have a friend that likes to work out at 2, 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel it is burdening our society, trying to push one concept as the norm for everyone. Mm-hmm. For me, it does seem logical for me to kind of set up my day by doing all these, like my practices in the morning. But, who am I to tell you how you feel when you do your practices at whatever time during the day? That's the part of each of us being on our own journey. There are some rules, but there's always exceptions to rules.
But if Jean Marie, are you like carrying it with you all day? Like, oh, I had to work out.
Well, in my head, yeah. I'm like, yeah. it would be not, and I always used to work out in the morning, so I don't
Yeah.
have a good excuse. It would only be an excuse. So I think it would be beneficial for me to get it done in the morning and maybe do a little bit more later. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to form a new habit instead of just being on my laptop first thing in the morning. I don't think that's
Right.
healthy either, to be on my
Yeah.
laptop for a couple hours. You know
Right.
what? Get something physical done. And yeah, I just think I'd feel better about my day. So I really like where this conversation was going.
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. I'm going to bring Dr. Relly. You there? She just messaged me. Maybe she can join.
Hi there. Yes, I'm
Oh,
here.
good. The reason why I want to have Dr. Relly come in because she's raw vegan, and I'm not saying anyone needs to be raw vegan, but it's really good for her to talk about her experience being a raw vegan because she runs, she does weight training and kung fu. She's super active. She came to me eating 400 grams of carbs, and she's petite, you know, not afraid of eating carbs like some people are. But can you explain the health benefits or just of adding more plants into your diet?
Yeah. My background is conventional, omnivore eater. I was born in Mexico. I'm Mexican, and we have the Western version, but with the Mexican food of animal products and processed food, and that caused me a lot of problems in terms of weight gain, acne, skin problems, circulation problems, and I discovered Atkins diet, which is basically animal products, 3 times a day, just to sort out nutrition. That kind of opened the window or the door for me to understand more about how nutrition plays a role in our diet. And I noticed that it was not sustainable because I didn't have carbs. When you are eating just animal products, you're lacking the carbs because carbs is the preferred source of energy for our cells. There's a lot of controversy in the keto movement where, oh no, the brain prefers ketones, but that's another story. So that made me understand nutrition, and I went vegetarian, then vegan, and then the more I understood natural hygiene principles and things that are outside the mainstream allopathic medicine, I realized that maybe like back in the days, our ancestors were frugivores. I'm not married with the idea that we are not supposed to be eating animal products. Maybe we did, because there were not like abundance of fruit all year round, I suppose. So we were chasing fruit, maybe just looking for better conditions of living. But the original diet before tools, fire discovery, agriculture was what was growing up in the fields. And if we think about anthropology, in order for life to exist, you need to have the perfect environmental conditions, which is humidity, sunlight, warm weather, abundance of plants and trees and all of that. So it's logical to think that we originated from the tropics, and from there we migrated, and then the different races appear because we adapted. Northern countries have less sunlight, so therefore you need less melanin, so therefore you become whiter, things like that. There are other explanations of how we originated and races and all of that, but I believe that we have this common ancestor, which is a Homo sapiens, that happened to occur in the tropical areas. So I feel like we are designed to eat fruit and veggies in the raw natural state. And if you're a Christian, you have the Bible, and God gave us the Garden of Eden, and you can eat plants from there, like whatever grows from the trees and bushes. So it's fruits and veggies. So in the natural state, before everything else happens and all the controversies about cooking and agriculture and grains, soy, and all of those controversies, and before hunting animals, before being able to adapt to cold weather, we were, in a nice environment, in a warm environment, and then everything happens. So I feel like our original diet is frugivore, fruit-based, not necessarily fruitarian, like 100%, but fruit, which is carbs, should be the main source of our calories. So I've been living as a raw vegan for 5 years now, and I've been keeping my weight. The only thing is that now my goals have changed. Like my health problems are non-existent anymore because I reversed everything with a raw vegan diet. But I just feel like maybe the quality of our fruit and veggies from the grocery stores are not optimal, and maybe all the nutrients are not necessarily in fruit at this time in history. So I just decided to incorporate more protein from plant-based sources. I'm still trying to stick to raw vegan diet. I'm probably 95% raw vegan right now, but when I'm running out of protein, I include organic tofu sometimes, or cooked garbanzo beans or things like that. But most of my raw vegan protein is coming from sprouts, bean sprouts, and big salads. Zucchini has a lot of protein, and green leaves, nuts and seeds, fruit as well. I don't eat as much because of the carb restrictions that I have now and the macros. But
Do you mind
yeah,
if I interrupt for a minute and just talk about tofu? Because people have a belief that tofu is bad for you.
well, there's, you have a lot of opinions about it. The plant-based community that is supported or have the support of scientific studies that they don't condemn tofu because they say that the estrogens in tofu, which everybody fears, is phytoestrogen, which is like plant derived. It's not necessarily animal based. Like, if you drink milk from a cow, you're eating animal estrogens. That's the bad one, compared to tofu, which is phytoestrogen,
Right.
which
So
is
it's interesting that people don't connect that.
right.
We're eating cottage cheese and milk and ice cream, and that is from an animal that is made to make a baby cow 600 pounds.
Yeah.
But when it comes to tofu, people are saying, oh, can't eat tofu.
Yeah, I mean, and
It's
for
just
me as a raw
interesting.
vegan, it's not ideal. I would rather eat the soybean, the edamame, but it's convenient. We are
Right, yeah.
like, we are in a computer. We use glasses. We have a lot of artificial stuff that is convenient. So I feel like it's not detrimental to us. Obviously, you have to vary it or to include variety in your diet, not only rely on tofu. But I don't feel like it's damaging at this point. I don't believe that.
All right, does anyone else have any question? We have about 5 minutes left before I go for gymnastics pickup at 8:30 at night.
I have a question
Yeah,
about the breath work.
okay.
So I very much believe in everything that you're saying. I actually did a 200-hour yoga teacher training, but I'm not a yoga teacher. Of course, breathing is a big part of that. Like I do the whole box breathing, some of the other strategies, but I definitely have some kind of a block, mental block, whatever it is. And I'm just wondering, like, what is the best way to actually be able to progress into like breath work to the maybe not to the same extreme, but beyond like a simple breathing exercise? Because I can tell you, like, I love yoga. When I go to yoga, the first stressful thing that I hear in a yoga class is pay attention to your breathing. As soon as they say that, I go, it's like, even this whole conversation talking about breathing, I like feel it up here and I don't know why. And I don't know how to get past that.
I used to get triggered when someone tells me, calm down, just breathe. Our existence, the mind-body connection is still a big question mark for neuroscience and for science. So I can't give you a straight up answer. The best thing I can give you is keep steady, keep disciplined with daily breathwork practice. Because even I've learned from a friend, in clinical psychology and psychiatry, therapists are taught that the best tool, the one that harms us the least for resolving trauma, childhood trauma, is breathwork. It all the feelings that we feel, you've heard that feelings are stored in different parts of the body. Breathwork, just you breathe through it, moves the blood through the body, and just it happens somehow. I don't have a straight up answer, nor do we have time to dive deeper into it.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the other thing, right? When they say breathe into your lungs, breathing to, pay attention to where you have, holding tension, breathe into that. I can't connect. I don't connect to that. So I'm trying to figure out how. So maybe it is just more practice.
Just daily practice. That's the best I have, because you have to figure that out yourself.
Yeah.
It is, I know this is not something you probably want to hear, but we all perceive different things differently. We all have certain traumas that remind us of certain things unconsciously that make us feel certain feelings and that throw us off. You know, so daily breath for practice. I told you, like the 9 box breaths, that's the best I have. The best friend you can ever have is you. I know this sounds cliche, but I'm radical. I insist. You feeling yourself like a loving parent, figuring it out, and not taking it too seriously. Like, you're gonna overcome it and grow through it if that is your intention. You will with daily work for sure. 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're already doing the work, Brenda, just by questioning it, right? You're already doing the work.
You get more sensitive. You feel, as you do the work, you feel more of the sensations throughout the day. So you might be, this might be the case.
And I love that. You feel yourself as the loving parent going through when you feel that moment of, I can't get there. It's not, you surrender to that, right, Milan? Just surrender.
On one hand, yes, on one hand you surrender, but on the other, you stay with the breath, you focus on it, you breathe through it. It is very non-linear. Discomfort will come. It will go, of course, but it will come. Fighting against it is not the way. It's surrendering to it and working with it, breathing with it and breathing through it is how you grow through it.
And I love how you said it's your intention to get past that. So it's already put out there. It's almost like The Secret. You have an intention of getting through that. And you envision it in your mind, and then you hold yourself like a loving parent when you going through those blocks, right? And doing the daily practice of the breath work. No, that's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. If anyone has some final words, unfortunately, I have to run to do gymnastics pickup.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
awesome.
really enjoyed this.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Awesome.
And so, Milan, where can we find you?
My website, www.milanvracaric.com. I have Instagram, I have Facebook. So
And it's Milan.
MILAN, yes.
M-I-L.
Yes, MILAN VRACARIC.com. How it's my first
And your
name
book, you can find it on Amazon.
on Amazon, yes.
Our Abundance.
Yes, correct.
All right. Well, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
The pleasure was all mine. Like, thank you so much. I really
All right, everybody. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Night. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.